We are back at Planet 13. This is Cultivated Live. I am Jay Rosenthal. She is Krista Raymer. We are here with George Breiwa. We are going to talk about DynaVap. You're going to do a little bit show and tell. What do you want to do first? Tell us about yourself first.
Okay. So thanks for having me, Jay, Krista.
Pleasure.
This is fantastic. Been having a pretty interesting adventure here in Vegas with MJ Biz. And so about myself, I'm a person that likes to solve problems and to create things. And I found my entry point to combine these attributes into something that could provide me the resources necessary to have a fun life adventure in the cannabis industry.
That's a pretty good backstory.
Right.
But you are also I don't know what the right word is, but like a Twitch personality.
I don't know if I'd go
sound?
that far. I just started doing initially back in 2020 on my way back from an interesting adventure to Europe, where I flew to Europe for Cannabis. I don't know if you've ever been.
Yeah.
Okay. Landed there on Wednesday. We were about to start setting up our show for Cannabis on Thursday, and found out a few hours after I arrived, oh yeah, Cannabis has just been canceled. Okay. And then a few hours later, at like 2 o'clock in the morning local time, I was sitting at a cannabis club and making my way back to the Airbnb, and my phone starts blowing up. Oh yeah, Trump just banned travel from Europe. I'm like, okay, I better buy tickets right now, because if I wait until morning, there's not going to be any flights left. So ended up not even having an opportunity to get any sleep. Made a 44-hour round trip from Chicago to Barcelona and back. And it's on my way back that it's like, I need to stay connected. This is my opportunity to kind of step up my game. So I started streaming on Instagram, and that evolved over the course of a year or two. I kind of made it a point to, I'm going to do this every single week because I want to be comfortable on camera. I want to be able to represent the brand, the product, and be able to interface with people in a way that just works and flows. And the only way to be good at anything is you just have to do it.
You need reps.
Reps, all the reps. What we talk about in hockey.
You just do, right?
Yeah.
Whether you're talking about working out or you're talking about creating, you have to be able to do what you care about regularly.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do that, it's a lot of this, like showing product, showing how it's working.
It is.
And science and engineering behind it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And interfacing with the community and the customers. And I think it creates a really interesting format when you force yourself to be in a live situation. So you have to think on the fly. It's a lot easier, not that it's easy per se, to do recorded video, which can be edited, because I also have done a fair amount of that from the beginning, because I wanted to make sure that the product was represented accurately, because just because of the way I'm wired, accuracy matters to me. And we put a lot of details into the product that we make because we want it to be something that, whether you realize it or not, it's the details in the product that help it be what it's supposed to be. The general shape has one thing. The fact that it works, yeah, that's great. But having the finish just right, having the dimensions just right, having the balance of the product so it just sits right, and it'll just kind of hang on your fingers, at a nice little place. So that
like a pen.
And just becomes a part of your life that you don't have to really think about it. It just fits in.
And what do you have in your hand? Tell us about this.
The one I've got in my hand this is our newest product that we just released about a month and a half ago. We call it the Woodwind because it's made from wood. Nice solid piece of hardwood, right? And it's kind of a throwback to one of the first devices that we made, and I think one of the more important ones that we made in the beginning of our kind of path. Because our first product was mostly glass with our little cap. And our little cap is kind of the key to the Dynaverse, right? Because this silly little thing is a multifunction tool with a built-in thermostat so that it allows whoever has one of these devices to be able to use any sort of heat that they have available and make it work. But having it glass, it's nice and clean, but it doesn't look very nice and it breaks. So we ventured off into wood because it's also nice looking, feels nice in the hand. It doesn't get hot. And because we're trying to figure out how to make the cap work with the wood and glass, like, okay, how are we going to do this? Well, why don't we make the oven out of titanium, and why don't we connect it to the wood with just a couple O-rings, so you can just push them together, and you reduce the heat transfer, and oh, that means I could have a different kind of stem. I could have a different piece of wood. I could make it out of metal. I could make it out of a broad range of different things, and all my pieces just come right apart, and I can make a little kit. Now we got this modular vaporizer, or we also like to call them a thermal extraction device, because I think the term vaporizer has really been convoluted with all the nicotine vapes and so many other things that are called vapes. This is a device that allows you to bake your flowers instead of burning them. It's not an e-liquid thing. It doesn't have batteries. It doesn't have an atomizer. It doesn't require oil, although it can use it. It's a multifunction device that allows you to consume the product of your choice kind of on your terms, simply and easily.
And it feels good and looks good.
Yeah, it's got a real nice lightweight feel to it. And yeah, here, check it out.
And what's the other thing hiding behind the
So
hat?
this is one of the ways that we can heat that.
I see.
So I can.
It does feel
kind
nice. In fact, I'm going to take it apart.
The
Oh,
pieces
absolutely.
come
Take it
so
apart.
nicely also.
Yeah, totally. I'm going to break it. Oh, that's great.
So this little product,
You got another one in your hand. You just have them in all your pockets.
we kind of make them, so I've got plenty of them, right? So I can drop this in here like this, push a little button, and one of the key things with the way that our product works is the thermostat's built into the device, but you are the control. And if you listen, you can hear it's going to click when it's ready, and that's kind of our signature thing. Okay,
There you
so
go.
now I know that my oven's up to temperature. I can take a couple puffs. I can hold it in here like this, and it'll stay hot for anywhere from 5, 10, 15, 20 seconds, but not very long. And then it cools down quickly. It'll click again to reset, so we know that it's not cool to the touch, but not hot enough to burn you. So you can put it away, or you can reheat for the next round.
That's smart.
And just
I like it.
That's a
simple and
cool
sleek,
little,
right?
Yeah.
When you are talking to your words, sort of talking to the people that are using this, right? Your community of interested parties, like, are they like, you're obviously teaching them, but obviously, and they appreciate it, but are they are they always pushing you on the product side too? Like, could you do this? Is this possible?
Oh, absolutely. And that's what's really fun about this whole situation is the direct interface with the community helps me as what I'd like to say is, one of the people on the creative team. It helps me better understand what the community of people that we as a company are serving, helps me better understand what they're looking for. Okay, because in the end, what is the purpose of a company? Well, a company exists, in my opinion, to serve its customers. And when you lose sight of the fact that your purpose for existence is to serve your customers, you're going to have problems, right? Because why else does a company exist?
Right. It's a good lesson for retailers too. But you also are figuratively have sight on your customers because they're talking to you, but you're also literally in front of them. Like, that's a pretty direct connection, which when Krista talks about sort of bringing that to retail, like, that is what gets people to come back for the second time, or to be more engaged with the brand, or to pass through the 4 dispensaries that they see to get to yours, or to go past the other sort of products that might be similar to yours to come to yours.
And I think it's an important thing, because the way that I feel that a lot of humans are wired is we're social creatures, right? And it's one thing to be looking at buying, using a product. It's a whole nother dimension when you can associate that product with a person or the team or the group of people and or a brand. And so I think it's really important for a brand to be relevant, to have a face that people can associate with it, to have kind of that feel that's not just the product, it's the people behind the product that are putting their effort in making sure that the product is and does what it's supposed to do and completes the picture.
Yeah, it's not nameless, faceless.
Sure, exactly.
It's named
We have
with
enough
face.
of that in our world as it is.
Yeah.
And it helps to provide a little bit more confidence, I think, with the customer when they can associate that, there's some actual real people behind this. It's not just made in some nameless factory, shipped overseas, and run through 4 different lines of distribution until it finally gets to me.
Right.
And which is another thing I think is really worth mentioning here, Jay, is we took a very different approach when it came to bringing our product to market. And that is from the initial drawing table, right? Concepts, that sort of thing. I did some of that initial work myself, and I did not want to take the product to some factory somewhere else, teach them how to make it, have them make my order, and then just keep on making them and then flood the market. So we just started as a company making them in our shop and reinvesting when people would buy our product, buying more equipment, hiring more people, learning how to do it. And this empowered what I would refer to as a rapid-paced iterative process that allowed us to refine our product much, much faster because we were able to make small incremental changes in those early days almost daily. That, oh, geez, we got a couple people are saying we should change this, or this is fitting too tight, or it's too loose. Okay, well, let's adjust our own groove depth a little bit and make sure that it feels better and establish that standard. So it taught us a whole lot about that process.
It reminds me of the conversation we had, I think, the first day we were here, where someone was figuring out a new way to actually pack their pre-rolls.
Sure.
Like it was an iterative process that you could only do in front of you, right? Sending those directions back and forth, and then once it's set, it's set. But then I actually just noticed, this is not about that, but the cap on this is where your logo is on your shirt.
Exactly.
Did you notice? Yeah, I liked it.
And there's more fun things, when it comes to the cap. So not only does it click when your oven is ready, right? So you can just bake your cookies instead of burning them. Okay. But it protects them from the flames. So I can use a source of energy that's not exactly the cleanest. Okay. Say a Bic lighter or even a candle. I'm just heating the outside of this metal cap.
You're not actually doing the burning.
And once it clicks, I'm out of that flame. So I'm not drawing any of the byproducts from whatever my heat source is through my system. So it keeps it all nice and clean. And then the best part, at least I think, is when it's done, you take it off and you use what we call the digger outer to just...
Digger.
That's what I'd call it.
Okay.
That's the
because
digger outer.
it's already in your hands.
Yeah.
And I just love the fact that when I'm doing this, it's so ergonomic and intuitive.
Right.
That process is done, and now I can just reload it either like a one-hitter, or if you just touch the end of the oven, the extraction chamber with your finger, you notice it's kind of serrated. So it's really easy to actually roll between your fingers on a bud like this and just grind right into the chamber.
Oh, wow.
So you don't even have to have a grinder.
What will George think of next?
I don't know.
George, I really want to appreciate, I do appreciate the work you do and the effort and passion in which you do it, but also the approach about product knowledge and sharing with your direct audience, because I think exactly what you're saying is often missed in the industry. Like, we're going to create this product, we're going to get it out to flood the market, but then the consumers actually have no deep connection to it either, because the people who are putting it out don't have a deep connection to it.
No, and it's further complicated, I think, with our product here in this regard, because our product, I think, fits in a category somewhat by itself. So the burden of educating the consumer is very squarely on our shoulders.
Right.
Because if I hadn't had an opportunity to kind of just explain through some of these things to you, it's just a fancy one-hitter.
Right.
Right? Mm-hmm. Because that's what we think. It's what we're familiar with. Who would think that you could actually make a fully functional, battery-free vaporizer thermal extraction device with this kind of form factor that weighs about 10 grams, right? And is built to last. I mean, really built to last. I think with just a little bit of care, a product like this, it's generational. And it's another thing that just brings me a lot of joy to think that we're a company, we're making products that you should be able to pass down to future generations, and they should still be nearly, if not fully functional as the day that they were purchased.
There aren't many products like that anymore.
No, there aren't.
Yeah.
And
even a car is not that.
yeah, it just doesn't, things don't last that long. And really, what's going to break on here? If you really abuse this cap, you'll break it. But if you're nice to it, we've had customers that have had caps in daily use multiple times a day for over 5-6 years.
Yeah.
I mean, tens of thousands of cycles these caps are capable of clicking at the right temperature. Then you got the O-rings. If you wear them out, well, they cost a few pennies. You can replace them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about it.
I like it. I like it, George. We have to say goodbye to you, even though I don't want
good.
to. But I'll see you on Twitch. But I really do appreciate you stopping by, because I was saying to everybody, up until 10 o'clock, I'm going to say it. It's early to be here on a Friday in Las Vegas. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you,
and for
Jay.
sharing
Thank you,
your morning
Krista.
with us. We are live at Planet 13 in Las Vegas. This is Cultivated Live. He is George Breiwa from DynaVap. And thank you so much for sharing. We'll be right back with Kenny Petticord from idscan.net. I'm saying it out loud, so
Yeah,
hopefully,
it's like you just
hopefully he'll
really
just come running.
escalated.
We'll be right back from Planet 13.
Perfect.